Welcome to the Dyckman Podcast, an original experience as told by a group of friends. This podcast is brought to you by Full NYC, encouraging confidence throughout the entire city. Today, we are here for Mangú Aquí, as you can see in the poster. My name is Kevin Bencosme. I am the lead actor in Mangú Aquí, and I'm also here with three individuals. Luke Bond, the director of the movie. We have Carlito Hatube, the writer and producer of the movie. And we have a special guest, Eddie Castro, friend of the show, friend of the movie, friend of the team.
Thank you.
So I would like to start this off by having you guys introduce yourselves to the audience. Tell them, a little bit about yourselves. How'd you get here? How'd you get your start? Luke, would you like to start?
Yeah, sure. As he said, my name is still Luke. I do writing, directing, producing, editing. I also know how to juggle, which I think is really cool. And right, I know. I think it's like at the top of my resume, and that's how I get gigs. I directed Mangú Aquí and also edited Mangú Aquí, and it was a blast. Yeah.
He also edited. I forgot to say that as well. He juggles many talents.
See.
You know.
He acted in it too.
Oh, I was a cop for like 2 seconds. Just because our cop guy didn't show up, And most people think I'm a DT, when I wander into parties, and people are like, "You're an undercover DT, aren't you?" And I'm like, "No, I promise."
Narc.
I know, right? Yeah, it's no fun. Everyone just puts away all the fun stuff as soon as I show
You
up.
didn't have to say that. You could have just said that, you got it because you earned it. You worked really hard. That's how he got
To
it.
cast myself,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
No, see, I looked at that completely different. I looked at it like because he didn't mention acting in his talents, because he wasn't acting.
Yeah.
He just put on a little 99-cent vest.
put on a vest,
and,
kind of voice.
and threw me on a wall.
Oh,
That's the best way to view it. I'm not acting. I am the character, right? Daniel Day-Lewis, part 2. So you should introduce yourself so I can shut up. Yeah.
No, actually, I was enjoying this. But, okay, so I'm Carlito Hatube. My name, Carlito. When I was a little kid, they used to call me Carlito in DR. I don't like my last name, my real last name, so I went with my town name. Hatube is where I was born. We had to leave when I was like 2, so I don't remember much of it.
And Hatube is located where?
That's in Bonao in the Dominican Republic. So not many people know about it because it's tiny. Yeah. So, but hopefully, we're trying to make it famous here.
I'm going to be honest. You chose a great artist last name, because I thought that was your last name all the way until you told me it wasn't.
I thought it was until right now.
Yeah.
I'm not even kidding. Like I've used you as a reference, right? Because you're my producer. I'm like, oh, talk to him. His name is Carlito Hatube, and now they're gonna think I'm lying, that you're a fake reference.
But you know what? It's unique. It's a unique name, and it comes from one of the Native American tribes of Quisqueya. That's what Dominican Republic was known as before.
You have a great name to send spam emails. You get a lot of credit card numbers, brother.
Is that a compliment? Wait a minute.
wait. What's going on?
Yeah.
I didn't know we were supposed to give an origin story though. Like we're all supposed to give like our origin story.
Yes.
Like,
Are you related to James? Hello?
No. I'm related to Peter Stuyvesant. Though.
Wait, what?
I'm related to Peter Stuyvesant, though. That's not actually a flex, big time colonizer. But Stuytown is named after him. You know where Stuytown is?
Yes,
right by the
I know where
Cooper Village?
Stuytown is, yes.
It's basically
Yeah.
named after me, essentially. And there's
Okay.
Bond Streets as well, so half the city is already mine. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Now all right.
Wow,
You're
power
somebody.
players.
I mean, you were allowed to, origin stories.
Well, I was bit by a spider. I mean,
I've
I
been
can't
bit by
shoot webs out
too.
of it.
Are you implying that there was some radioactive material
I
involved?
can't say that because we got to maintain.
I have been bit by spiders too.
In New York City, you're more likely to get bit by a cockroach than a spider.
Or a rat.
Ooh, or a rat.
I once
you
tripped on a
imagine?
rat in Washington Heights. Yeah.
A rat man.
I don't even want to imagine that.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it was
Like,
the
you
size
just
of
like
a
spread
football.
filth. Like,
Well, you'll never run out of food. You just got to eat garbage. Right?
you're right.
Yeah.
Anyways,
Yeah. Anyway, so I want to talk about myself here. Like, where you guys?
Speaking of rats,
Oh.
we went there. It's a roast now.
So yeah, Carlito Hatube, that's where I was at. So I'm a writer, and I discovered I was a writer in the 8th grade. Well, somebody else discovered. My teacher, she told me, like, I hardly knew English then, but she was like, your sentences, you could write full sentences. You're good. And I'm like, okay. And then in high school, I wrote a piece about, my childhood, like, what apples tasted like in the Dominican Republic. And my teacher, the Spanish teacher, said, wow, this is a poem. And I'm like, really? And then I still have it, so I read it the other day, and I'm like, wow, this is a poem. This is pretty good. And then I don't know, I went in college, I studied writing. And so because I graduated in 2004, so I was like, you know what, I'm going to start writing. And, 1 year goes, and another year, and then essentially a decade, and, almost 2 decades. So the pandemic came, and I'm like, you know what, I got to write. Yeah. What else am I going to do? So I started writing, and I wrote the script of Mangú Aquí. Actually, I didn't write the script of Mangú Aquí. I wrote...
You got a ghostwriter?
I wrote something else. I wrote a whole series in Spanish, and then my one of the producers, he suggested, like, yeah, you got to get more experience in English here in the U.S. So then I came up with Mangú Aquí. So that's where this whole thing was born.
So we'll get to what Mangú Aquí is and the conception of all that, but we didn't let Eddie introduce himself. Eddie, please.
Oh, never mind.
I mean,
Let me just continue. Yeah.
No, so so I was bit by a spider. So my name is Eddie Castro, filmmaker, writer, director, act a little, born in the Bronx, raised in Yonkers, always a Bronx kid, forever.
Oh, me too.
I bet you can't juggle though. I don't know. Just saying.
That's why I'm impressed by you, man. I'm just like, how do you do that? Like,
No, it's a lot of practice.
Can you ride a bicycle?
Moving on. No, like I can't. I just had terrible balance. It's funny. Like I made like a little short film, like part of like another short with other students at school, and my part was like riding a bike, and I used my it's not a GoPro, it's like a DJI action cam, like on the front, like looking at me, and I'm like,
wait, can you ride a bicycle?
I didn't answer that, did I? Yeah, sure, I can.
But so you were like, what? Can you just let us see again?
Yeah, and embarrass myself. Like,
no, I just didn't get the good luck the first time. Just one more time, I think. For
no, all right, that's 3 times. No, but so where was I? Bit by
You were talking about being from the Bronx and
Yes.
how you used to steal bicycles and ride them.
Right, exactly, because I'm Dominican, so that's what we do. No, this. We Bronx, Yonkers, and I've always been like a writer at heart. Like I noticed early on that I'm like writing some stuff just like real quick in school, just to like because I'm a daydreamer, and I would get good grades back. I'm like, oh, okay, I didn't even. But I started actually liking it because I didn't like writing at all. But it made sense because maybe like you had these thoughts in your mind that you just wanted to put out there and share with people. And it's not just enough to just like speak it, but to write it down and have people read it and come up with their own, interpretation of what the story is. So I've written a bunch of stuff that you'll never read, but it helped me become a better writer eventually. And so there was a point where I just said, I have to stop writing these scripts and sending them out and not getting anything back. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to film school because I've always wanted to, and I'm going to go direct. I'm going to learn how to direct. And I've always been fascinated by visual images and putting them together with the writing. It just finally came to a cross where I said, you know what, I'm just going to go and I'm going to figure this out. Because I didn't know anything about cameras except like point, shoot, focus. Contrast, exposure, and aperture. I was like, what the hell's all that? Yeah. But I learned all of that. And now I'm semi-competent with that. But the point is that I know at least enough to communicate what I want for my story.
All right, so let's slow down a little bit.
Yeah.
So you guys all started. Luke, did you start off as a writer as well? Did you?
Yeah.
Or were you always like? Did you want to direct and then writing came after?
No, I really just wanted to write. But then I came to the conclusion that the only way my stories were going to come to life correctly was if I was to also direct.
Right.
If I were to also direct, right, and not trust anybody else.
Right,
I think I handed it off.
So where did the transition? This is for the 3 of you guys. Where did the transition of, or the realization that writing wasn't just enough? People can't just read it to themselves. People can't just, you can't just write a story and keep it in your computer. Where did the realization that you had to make it a visual aspect? Like you went to film school. So what school did you go to?
I went to Brooklyn College.
And did you go to school for
No,
the film?
no, I didn't go to school at all.
So you just dove into it.
Yeah, I think that's a good question. Like, when do you realize, like, like nobody's actually, like, so many people are writing, and there's a limited amount of people who are gonna buy your film and your script and actually make it into a film. So I'm like, but I'm doing this, and I don't want it just to sit on my computer. So during the pandemic, I wrote, and I'm thinking, okay, so I'm making this happen. Like it became my mission. And luckily for me, I have a great partner, and that's L.A. Benavides, who's behind the camera. Because I think like from the very beginning, I'm shooting ideas back and forth. Like we'll spend hours on the phone on a daily basis. So I think that's when somewhere in that time period during the pandemic, when as I'm talking to him, that's when it clicked. Like, okay, we gotta shoot this thing.
Because you need to make money.
I need to make money, but I gotta see it. Yes, I do need to make lots of money.
Basically. All right, and Luke, when did you realize that your stories needed to be seen, not heard?
I started with theater and writing plays and such, and but so the only way to find out what works and what doesn't work is to do it in front of a live audience, really, and that's the most educational part of Mangú Aquí is when you see it in front of an audience and you see what's working and what's not working. Yeah. And that was definitely the best education for me. Was 3 times a year throwing up a play in a small black box theater and failing a lot and learning a lot, and that's definitely in terms of storytelling. Is how I learned everything. But then, slowly transitioning into film and needing it to be accessible to a lot of people, right? Because I put on a play and then people would say, oh, I want to see your work. And I was like, well, it happened and it'll never happen again. So I don't know how you're going to do that. So I realized, if I, filmed a play, but then, made it look like a movie, but still just throwing in tons of dialogue.
For sure.
Then it's something I could permanently have to show people whenever. And it's unfortunately, that's the reality of our world, right? Theater is dead, but now anyone can go online and watch anything I do, and instead of having to wait for the next time.
Yeah. It's definitely a different experience because when you do theater, people have to get dressed up, they have to go out, they have to make it a deal, they have to go out of their way to go see your work. And if it's on screen, I could really just be eating Cheetos in my boxers in my couch and hit a button.
I mean, you'd be surprised who shows up to the theater with Cheetos in their boxers, but yes.
In being in New York City, I'm sure you've seen some.
Eddie's grandma. Yeah.
Eddie, I know you just did your. Was that your first film? Your first project that you just did?
Shots?
Yeah.
No, that's actually the 6th movie I've done.
6th movie, wow. How long have you been making films?
Well, so most of them have been through school. One of them I did, with a bunch of friends for a competition. Okay. But yeah, this one was the first one that I did on my own. Go out and get my own financing and go get my own crew, equipment, insurance, all that stuff.
Nice. Nice. Was this a project that you did while you were a student and then recreated it, or was it an original piece of work?
No, original. Yeah, this was something I came up with after the fact. Just because after you do something, after you write something, you have so many ideas anyway, and you just put them to the side while you work on the one project. Yeah. So I finished up my thesis, put it out there to film festivals and all that, and then just thinking about the next one. And actually, this came about, I guess, I don't know, organically. I just came up with this idea about like self-respect. And in fact, that's still what I call it, like my folder. I don't have it labeled shots. I have it labeled as self-respect because that's the essence of it. That's the premise, is this kid earning his self-respect.
Okay. So the name of the film is called Shots.
Right.
Is it a short film?
It is a short film. Hopefully somewhere around 15 minutes.
Okay.
We wrapped like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I'm still editing, still in post.
Okay, cool. And it's about a kid that got bullied. Right. And a retaliation?
Yeah, kind of. So yeah, the kid is bullied by these kids in school. I mean, you could sort of see that maybe he's a bit younger than some of the other kids, so he's a target because of that. And then he's got a father who's a cop, and he's kind of a bully himself to the kid. So like the mom just left because he was, maybe you could imagine, he's physically or verbally abusive, and now the kid is left behind, and he blames the kid. So he's getting it from all over the place.
Okay. And I'm assuming he like. Well, let's not give it away. Let's talk about that later.
I played a cop once.
I heard that.
Yeah. No, they're pretty.
It's got against the wall.
The number one job profession for beating their wives.
An abusive cop.
I didn't say any of that.
I mean, I'm saying that.
I'm saying it.
but no one else
I
has
have tickets outstanding, and I didn't say any of that.
to. Yeah.
Some of your best friends are cops, right? Like,
Oh yeah,
I'm sure they're fine. I'm sure they don't do mean
All
things to
right.
their wives. Yeah.
So let's get into the reason we're all here. We're all wearing Mangú Aquí shirts, as you can see. Let's talk a little bit about Mangú Aquí, the story. I want to get into the process of it. I want to do some sort of reflection now that it's been almost a year since. We haven't really spoken about the actual process of what happened. We kind of just did it, promoted it, and then hey, it's done. But I want to get your guys' thoughts, and I also chip in my thoughts as well. Carlito, it's your story. Why don't you give a quick synopsis about what it's about to anybody that hasn't seen it yet?
yeah. So this story is about this Dominican guy who is a young man who works very hard, but is socially awkward, especially when it comes to like dating. Like he has like no game. He doesn't know how to like get the attention, but he wants someone.
Wait, I'm sorry. I said, what is Mangú Aquí about?
Shit, man. Okay. I'm sorry, it's too personal. Yeah.
This is all embarrassing.
Yeah. So that's him, and
Young man named.
he's Roberto, and I named him after a close friend who I love dearly. And he's another person I talk to frequently about my ideas about writing.
And Roberto, he goes about it's about his life and his mistrials in dating. Does he fall in love with somebody? Does he have a backstory? What is this about?
So he falls in love, and finally someone gives him a chance. Everything is perfect because this woman he's dating is like ideal until one little event happens, and that is he introduces her to his traditional Dominican mom, who's just like notorious.
All right, so let's stop right there. What's this woman's name in the story, in the movie?
So the mother is Carmen, and
Played by
Aide Rosario. She's great.
Aide Rosario.
Yeah, the
The
great,
amazing,
It's amazing.
Aide Rosario. And the woman that Roberto falls in love with?
She is Katrina
Katrina, played by
Francesca Pujols.
amazing Francesca Pujols.
Yeah.
Did a wonderful job.
She's a model. Yeah.
Yeah, and when in this story, so we have Roberto who is going through his life and mistrials of dating, like I said, meets Katrina. They hit it off immediately, or do they not? Like, is this like a fairy tale? Because
Right
for
away.
Roberto to be going through, so much like a lack of game, like you said, and to just magically meet this woman, did they hit it off right away, or did he have to go through some stuff for it?
No,
For
they,
her.
they
For
didn't
her.
hit it off. I mean, I guess in his world, like from his view, yeah, they were like fine, but she's like, what the hell is this guy all about? Like type thing. No, so it didn't work out. But then I don't know. I think her friend convinces her, like, no, give this weird guy, give him a chance.
Yeah,
give him a little chance.
Yeah.
So you gotta. I think you personally have to call her friend. What her friend's name is Susie. So Susie is the one who actually made this relationship work.
Played by the great Evan Simone Fraser.
Yes, brought by Luke. He
Yes.
has that.
And so the conflict of this movie is Roberto introducing Katrina to his mother Carmen, and you said that Carmen was a traditional Dominican woman. Does that make Katrina non-traditional?
Yeah. So the Dominicans. Okay, so I got to say this in Spanish because I learned this as I was writing. I learned these terms like que popi or wa. Like I didn't know this, so like, but when I was writing this, like some people asked me about it. So, what is a popi? Do you know? No. do you know? Like, who knows what a puppy is and what a wawawa is? It's new. So a puppy.
I'm gonna let you tell it. It's your story. It's your story. I'm gonna let you tell it.
Wait, you want to say it?
No, go ahead.
So puppy is somebody who's more like high class, right? Wawawa. So what would you say?
Baby crying? A low class baby crying? Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Like, so there's upper class and non-upper class, I guess. You know, is the best way I
Non-upper class.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, we get more and more vague as time goes on to describe poor people, yeah. The non-upper class. Yeah.
That's good. Right. So, well, you know, but that's the problem. Like, you know, this, I guess she is a puppy because she is not traditional in the sense that of a Dominican wife who is going to cook, who is going to clean and do all these house chores that are expected in a more traditional Dominican setting. Or maybe in a traditional setting worldwide, but so she's not about that. And once the mother breaks through that, it took it like 5 seconds to see, like, what? Are you kidding me? No. Why are you wasting my time with this guy? So that's where the dilemma comes in.
Is that also where the title of the movie came from?
The title of the movie.
Is the title of the movie also A River in the DR?
So, now, the title of the movie, Mangu. So, Mangu is this food that Dominicans eat.
I directed it. I know. I promise you.
No, but, well, you know what? Let me just...
No, you need to explain because some people don't know what Mangu
Right,
is.
yeah, sorry. I'll
Go for it, man.
No, but you know what?
Well, let's not get off track. The reason I asked that is because you were talking about the difference between Roberto's mother and Roberto's girlfriend, and how you mentioned how Roberto's mother Carmen wants Roberto to marry a woman that cooks for him, that cleans, that does the. We keep using the word traditional, but I'm thinking more of gender roles and to fit the typical gender roles of society. So I'm asking, is that where Mangú Aquí came from as the title? And I know in the trailer, she says, "I want you to marry a woman que te hace Mangú Aquí, that makes you Mangu." So is that where the origin of the
well, the original name that I came up with actually gives away the story, and we'll see in part 2 that is coming up. By the way, part 2, we'll see that what happens. But in the name that I originally had picked out, it kind of it was a different name. However, LA. He was like, "Yeah, that doesn't sound Dominican enough."
Okay, would you be able to give us the name without spoiling the story for part 2?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's kind of tricky to do it, but so you got to see once you see part 2, then I could
No,
answer
for
that
sure.
question.
That's
Yeah,
fine. Once you do part 2, we can come back and always do this all over again.
Yeah.
All right, so we got typical romantic comedy, throwing some Dominican in there, throwing some New York in there, you know,
Spice.
yeah, little spices, little salt and pepper, you know, make it happen. Okay, so now let's move on to the process of making Mangú Aquí. We shot this in 10 days.
8 days.
8 days. And it took longer than 8 days. You can't just say, I'm going to do a movie in a week and a day. You have to start off from casting, getting the crew together, locations, budgets, production. After the first thing would be you writing the story, linking up with LA, like you mentioned. What was the next thing that you guys did? Like once you guys linked up and said, we're going to make this movie happen, what was the initial move?
So the next thing we decided, you know what? Let's get a crew together. Let's put an ad where people can apply. So Backstage is actually the website we used, and right there, you applied, and Luke applied, and a few other people as well. So it was a bit of a hard choice for us, but
It wasn't hard at all.
But they're not at this table.
It was not a hard choice at all.
for a reason.
All right. Yes, it wasn't hard. I mean, no. Once I saw,
It's okay.
Kevin.
You can give me my flowers. It's cool.
Yeah, I didn't give you a flower, and we gave Francesca flower, and I did, but not you
It's very
or
sad.
you.
That was kind of rude, yeah.
Yeah, that was. Sorry, at the
I
premiere.
mean,
we're
I'm
talking
glad you said it because I was thinking it. Would you, you know?
Yeah, you brought it up, so teamwork, yeah.
Chocolates next time. All right?
about- Okay. Yeah.
I do prefer things I can eat, yeah. So you got a
Okay.
crew.
Okay, so you got the crew. You went on backstage and you just said, you know what, world, come to me. Show me the people that will make this film happen.
That's it. That's exactly how it happened. So no, like I mean, no, really, hiring people it's hard because you want to pick the right people for your project. Because to have somebody to represent your idea, what you have in mind. It's like, and I think you alluded to this before. Like it's in writing. But okay, so how do we bring it to life? So like, it's so much details. So I think. When I saw Luke's work, like he showed me some of the work that he did, and I actually loved it. Like I saw Paul Makes Everything Worse, right?
Paul Makes Everything Worse, yeah. It's available on Cold Open streaming service, which is totally free, or on YouTube. Paul Makes Everything Worse.
I want to see it just based off the name.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Yeah, no, and it was funny. Like we actually LA and I decided on hiring Luke, because we hired the director first, okay, because the director was also gonna help us with the cast,
Director has the vision.
right, and with the actors. So once I saw that, I was like, yo, that was like one of the determinant points for me to go with Luke.
Okay, now I know they asked you, both of you, this in the premiere, but I want to ask you in front of a public audience. Being that Luke is not Dominican, you're not Dominican, right?
No, not recently.
Sure?
Did that come into play with choosing him? I'm assuming you've had not only Dominican but Hispanic, Latino directors that apply just based off the name of the film. So was that a conversation between the two of you, or a conversation amongst yourselves, amongst the two of you, in choosing Luke?
Yeah, yes, all of the above. It was a conversation between LA and I. Like at first, it was like, that was like the one con that he had.
Con, he says.
Yeah,
He's got other advantages.
pros and cons.
That's con. Okay.
So, but and even so, it's funny because in the interview also Luke mentioned that he said, well, I don't speak Spanish, blah blah blah, but like it was so much that he brought to the table, at least from our point of view, that we felt like, no, we can't go wrong with this guy. Like this is the guy for this film, and it turned out like it was a big decision. It was a tough decision, but it was the right decision for us. Yeah.
Good deal.
And Luke, I want to throw that question to you. What did you look at this like have you ever done a film, like a Spanish film or a Dominican-based film?
No,
Like that?
no, I've
What
done a couple.
were some hurdles that you were looking at when taking this on?
I mean, yeah, that's the primary thing. But I've directed things before where there are scenes that people speak in Spanish, but for theater and never for film, it's not a huge difference in terms of the language. But you just have to have the right people around you. I mean, like with any film, right? You have to have the people who know the content around you. You need to know what you're doing in your research. And yeah, I mean, those scenes maybe lost something because I don't speak Spanish. But it was maybe 20% of the film is in Spanish, maybe even less. And Carlito is there, and the actors are there, and they know it well, and they know it all. And we shot those scenes as well later in the shoot, which I think was really good that we did that, because at that point I know how these actors work, and everyone sort of set up their relationship with everyone else, and it was kind of easy to see things fall into place at that point. In the process. But yeah, it's definitely not ideal. And I told you guys you should hire somebody who speaks Spanish. But I mean, when you put up a posting on Backstage,
I didn't know you guys.
when you put up a posting on Backstage, and I mean, you're not offering tremendous amounts of money. Because this was pretty low budget, you're only going to have so many people apply. And even if there is someone there who's a Spanish speaker, but they're fresh out of school, I mean, who knows? Maybe they would have killed it. But But yeah, you guys went off.
No, but you did have competition.
Before you go, it's funny you say that this was pretty low budget because this was the highest budget I've ever seen for anything I've done.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's everything,
I was like, low budget.
Relative.
I'm like, we ate twice a day. Low budget.
No pizza.
You know how many times I got to come in like already full? Like, I don't know if...
Oh, this was some of the best crafty we had. I mean, 'cause
Oh,
we had
man.
really good Dominican food for this, and Dominicans know how to cook chicken better than anyone else. And as an outsider, I can say that for a fact, right?
we up there. We top 5.
We know
We top 5.
But I mean, there was some challenge. There was some experienced director also who apply, who had the language. But no, really, you had a lot of skills that you brought to the table, and the editing also.
For sure. Eddie, do you want to say
No,
something?
I was just gonna say. I just wanted to chime in as someone who was not part of it initially, just as a viewer. I mean, just the writing, the themes came through. There are a lot of universal themes. So even though it is in Spanish, you don't have to be Spanish to enjoy it. You know, it could be Asian, it could be Black, it could be Jewish. You know, the same kind of universal themes of like the mother being traditional and the new girlfriend not being and like the bumping against like generations. That's what shined through, and that's where the comedy came from. You know, so it's universal and it's also specific, so that anybody can get it. But if you're Dominican or just Spanish, you get it even more because you're like, I know someone like, mi abuela, you know? Like you know it, but even if you don't know Spanish, you can still get it. You still relate to it because you know somebody like that.
Yeah. No,
I want to piggyback a little more on because we are talking about Luke, and I've told you this privately, but right after Mangú Aquí, about a month later, I co-directed my first film. I took a lot of stuff that you did on set and brought it over there because one thing that it is about directors, some people just don't know how to make films. But I mean that I don't mean that in a you're gonna make a bad film. I mean, when everything hits the fan, how are we going to do this? Right. How are we going to plan this out? How are we going to, what's the best way that we're going to film this movie? And Luke did a lot of that. He was, even though the reason I bring this up is because, yeah, he might not be born into the culture, raised into the culture, but I know how to make films. You guys have the flavor. I know how to cook, kind of, And, yeah, I just really wanted to let you know that, and also thank you for the process.
Wait a minute. I think he's getting too many praises here. I kind of want to say something a little.
I mean, I thought we were only like halfway to the.
I'm saying though, like I
we were just getting started.
Oh yeah,
I want to keep it real.
Started,
It's cool, man. We'll teach you how to juggle later.
Here's what happened though. Like I knew we were in big trouble. Like we was like, oh man, there's a big cultural challenge. This is real. Like when we went out, like like you mentioned food. Like we were fed twice a day, actually 3 times a day, because for breakfast, we also have breakfast. So like one of the things we go to the supermarket. Luke and I, we go shopping. So we're there with a big car. Like okay, so we need juices, we need this, we need that, and then like okay, so I'm like double parked somewhere. Like all right, Luke, they sell coconuts there. Right? You remember that?
I remember this day.
Yeah. So, like, he goes, entra al supermercado y sale con 2 cocos secos. I'm like...
Did you read the script at all?
Yeah. Like, Luke, no, coco seco, no. We need those green coconuts full of water, So that, like...
Some education, a learning curve to be done there. That's why you have pre-production, though, That's why
For sure. Now, at this point in the process, you have Luke. Now let's get to the casting. Obviously, I won.
Casting's done. Let's get to the shoot.
Right. But I want to ask you guys, and you could chime in with your process as well. I'm gonna ask you a fun question. What are some of the worst tapes that you guys saw that people submitted and you were like, I can't believe this person really thought they were gonna like do that?
Well, there's one person. His name was
Did anything stand out like horribly bad?
I mean, one person came into the audition room with his own construction outfit, which
nice.
I props to or whatever.
Nice,
and I was like, I hope this is the one, but it's hard to be specific as to people who fit the role or don't fit the role, and it very often has nothing to do with are you a bad actor, are you a good actor. I mean, we need good actors, right? But whether or not you fit this particular character, and it's very hard, and this is why acting and auditioning is so incredibly hard. You
It's
never
its own
know
process,
why you
yeah.
got rejected, and you know you go to your 10th callback and still don't get the part, and you don't know why, and that's what
Very
makes
true. Very
that
true.
so incredibly difficult. But you know, as us on the other side of the table can say as many times as you know as possible that it's nothing to do with you or your talent. It's really that we're looking for the right person for this role, and it wasn't you, you know, and that kind of thing happens all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and also like actually the time like I'm working on this project so hard, and you know, like I actually wasn't able to make it to the casting. I had COVID, and I'm like, okay, I gotta stay home now.
Wait. You guys had like an actual in-person casting?
Yeah. Yeah.
I did not
you
know
were
that.
invited to that, but you were too busy making money. But that's okay. You beat people who came in person with your.
I don't even have to show up.
That's how good you. Yeah, dude. No, really, you were the right part. No, we did have people in person, man, and
Which is how we got Francesca for Katrina. She came in person, and she was, you know, the best one there easily.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you see any horror stories from casting? Because I know your main character is a child.
Yeah.
Did any grown men like apply?
It's funny you say that because
Bring their voices up a little bit.
Yeah, right. No, yeah. So I put the character description out there, right? 12 to 14 years old, Hispanic, right? And like I swear, I was getting like people like that, like were 45 years old. Like, look, and like, how do you think this is gonna go? Really?
They're like the de-aging technology. Just use the de-aging technology. If they can do it for
Deepfake,
Harrison Ford,
deepfake.
they can do it for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got the
I know
gray
you.
beard.
I know you got that because I do that. Like as a working actor, if I see something that I'm clearly not fit for, I'll still apply sometimes just because you never know.
You never know.
Never
Maybe
know.
the director ran out of choices or this or that. But like it's a kid in high school. You have a gray beard. What are you doing? And then like you got your kid in the background jumping around. Okay, no, you know what? Bring the kid. Let's see the kid. What can he do? Like, but no. It's I can't say horror stories like Luke said. You know, you audition people and things just don't work out. And it's never really about like whether or not you're good. It's really about does this person fit the role?
And is good. Yeah.
And he's good, right? No, that helps
No,
too.
good is the first.
Good. It fits the role and available.
Yeah.
Availability is huge.
Right.
Like there were so many people
Yes.
that applied, and we had, let's say, from June 19th through the 23rd, and they'd say, "Oh, we're not available the 21st, 22nd." Like, well, then I can't.
Yep.
You know, like these are the days that we have. These are the only days that we had the school available.
That's why it's good to cast really early in the process as well. You know, block those dates out as far in advance as you can.
I remember when you guys told me that I had gotten the role. I was at work. I remember you called me. I was at work, but I was doing rehearsals for the movie that I ended up directing, One Life to Live, and I spoke to the producers and the directors, and I told them, hey, I have this movie that I really want to do. I feel like it would be good for me. We were only filming on weekends, me and One Life to Live, and we were doing straight through the week. And we had that one day off. So I told them, hey, listen, if you just give me one day to get the day off, I will film this movie in between us filming this movie. And they were like, how are you going to be able to do that? And I'm like, don't worry about it. Like I can do Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and come right back and get right into it. But that's but I bring that up because of availability. Granted, we ended up pushing those dates back, but the attempt was there. Most people would say, oh, no, I'm already doing something. But no, you got to be available. And if you're not available, you got to make yourself available.
Yeah, it's huge. We need you there. It's the same thing with the cast, with the crew. We need the crew there. Like if you're supposed to be doing sound and all of a sudden you can't show up, then how are
there's
we gonna
no
get
shoot.
sound? Right, exactly.
No
You need
shoot.
everyone available.
Let me though challenge you guys. I hear what you're saying, but I think because of your schedule, Kevin, like we actually we went back And we were like, okay, so we need different days because Kevin is not available on this day.
Yeah,
Kind
I
of
remember
what you
that.
said.
Yeah, we
I
were
remember
still
that.
months out though, so it's pretty easy to change
I
it up
remember
when
that,
you're months
yeah.
away. Yeah. But you got to book people months in advance. You got to get them contracts. You got to have kill fees for these people in case if you need to change. And that's the only way to ensure.
Yeah,
that's the only
because
way
you have to set up
security.
locations. If you're like you're at a Airbnb or you get a school or something, this is
Right.
the only day we can shoot
Yeah.
here.
Yeah, well, I don't even start any type of hiring process until everything else is locked down.
Yeah,
Until
that's the
I-
best way to do it, honestly.
Yeah.
That's the best way.
But
to
you got to
do
do
it.
months in advance.
That's the best way to
this
do
stuff
it.
takes a lot of time and forethought. Yeah.
Yeah, funny story. So remember when we did the party scene in the basement? That day in itself was crazy for me
Yeah,
specifically.
that was a rough day. Yeah.
That day was crazy.
It's the worst.
But one of the so I networked with some of the background actors. Some of them I've used, some of them I haven't. Two of them specifically I booked for a shoot, and they both told me 30 minutes after call time I can't make it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm talking about I'm already filming and they're sending me a DM, hey, I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm like, bro, I already adjusted the scene to take you out of it.
Well, that's
Sometimes you get real horror stories in while you're filming. And it takes an experienced person to be able to adjust when everything goes bad. We're gonna cook it up and make something out of it.
That's the thing, though, right? If you're a director, it's not just about, oh, I know how to shoot this and like compose the frame and everything else. It's about what can I do when things go, all to hell. Like that's the creativity part of it too.
Yep.
Like our first day, we were supposed to have not just the one bully and the kid, but we were supposed to have at least two, and so the second kid didn't show up. It's supposed to be about like at least like 4 bullies, but we could only get like just one extra kid, and he wasn't available. We were like,
Did you call that 45-year-old man who?
Oh, Adolfo, yeah.
just to get the kid and his kid in the background who was jumping around. Yeah.
Hey, you're not playing the child, you're playing his father.
Right, just
Playing
like
his father with schizophrenia.
You're rooting him on. Beat him. No, but so we had to adjust, and it turns out that the kid thought that he wasn't supposed to show up that day. He showed up the other days, which was great, but now we have stuff where it's just the one kid who's being the bully, and you know what? It is what it is. That's how it had to work out, and so we ended up doing the first scene with the bully and the last scene with the bully, so that at least it's symmetrical, so it works out that way. But you just gotta like move on. You gotta think up something different and just say, all right, well, we don't have this now, so we've got to think of it differently.
90% of the job is problem solving. Yeah. More so even. Yeah.
Right.
Problem solving always, because there will always be problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
So let's get out of the horror story phase. Let's go into something fun.
Uh-oh.
Can you guys give me what was your favorite day of filming? So when an audience looks at the
I can answer that.
when an audience looks at the film, they can say, "Oh, it really came out that they enjoyed that day."
That's tough. They all kind of just blend
Easy.
together.
Well, all right, since you have the answer prepared, what was it?
The easiest day was here. We were at this very apartment, and I was, I'm the writer, I'm a producer, but I'm also like the assistant to the director, and I'm also like a production assistant. So like the day I was here, like, one of the things I had to go see was like, God, so Luke sends me, go check out where we're going to shoot outside. Like, go check out the park and take pictures and send them to me. I'm like, sure, I could do that. Nice, easy walk. I love walking outdoors, it's nice. When we were that day that you mentioned, the party scene, it was crazy. Like,
Well, talk more about the day that we shot here.
oh, yeah.
We'll get to the horror stories back.
No. The good story. It was just easy, like, because, like, I feel like everything was set up. Like, the food, as I was ordering the food, the location was convenient. Like, I went pick it up, brought it here. Like, it was.
And in the movie, which scene is this specifically in the movie?
So, multiple scenes that we shot that day, but one of them is when Manny is like getting in the way while Roberto is trying to watch TV.
Smoke hookah.
Yeah. Another time is when Roberto and Katrina smoking hookah. Another time he's cooking and they're about to go out to the party and like, I'm hooking up with my friend type thing. So I think those 3 scenes.
So all of the scenes in Roberto's apartment.
Yeah. All the scenes in the Roberto apartment. It was easy day. Yeah.
And then we went up to the park to shoot the love scene, which was also which was really nice and turned out Pretty nice. Yeah.
What was your favorite day of filming?
It's hard to remember like what scenes we shot on what days, so I just can remember specific scenes. The scene in the church, I remember.
Oh, yeah.
That was a really nice day. It was a really nice place to shoot.
Really quiet, very
yeah.
very nice visually.
And our gaffer Alessandro Imperiato was just one of the best person you can work with anything ever. Right? He's just amazing. And watching him work was really special. Yeah.
No shade to anybody I've ever worked with, but he's probably the best gaffer I've ever seen.
Yeah, no, he's
He is
amazing at his
amazing.
gig. Yeah, we were
is
so lucky to
amazing.
have him. Yeah, so watching him light that church was really special. Watching him, light anything was really cool. But we had a lot of exteriors as well, which would normally be fun, except that it was super hot all the time. So I had to buy people ice cream and stuff. But it's better
I'm
than
so
shooting
glad
this
you
week.
said that
Hottest
because
on recorded.
so glad you said that because that's what I was going to transition into. I want to ask you not what was your least favorite or the worst day, but what day was the most difficult? Because the shots came out amazing, and people don't understand how hard it is to get a perfect shot sometimes. So what day was the most difficult, and you looked at it when the film was done and you felt rewarded?
Oh, I mean, it usually
Can I answer for you?
Yeah, go for
it. It had to have been the first day. It had to have been the first day. You were sunburnt the rest of the week.
I mean, I'm sunburned. I go out for 5 minutes and I'm sunburned. Like I'm a lobster.
This man was pushing a dolly for 6 hours
Yeah, those turned out.
and then bought
pretty
us
decent.
ice cream.
Yeah. That was I love being outside as much as I burn. But but we also got some good stuff that day.
did.
But usually how difficult a day is will directly correlate to whether or not how much you like it sometimes, right? I mean, the party scene was the most difficult and the most frustrating in post. There were moments in that scene I really wanted to get and just didn't have time for. And it was really on me for scheduling those shots poorly in terms of thinking that would be the most efficient way. But then you get in the space and everything's a little different than you imagined. And there's a lot of people around there. So
We dealt with a lot of people that day.
yeah, so we had some really nice moments in that scene, but overall that scene was definitely the roughest day.
That's probably what made it the most difficult. That it was the amount of people that we had. It was a day that we had the most people.
Right, but they were great. It wasn't.
No,
they
yeah.
they weren't really responsible for slowing anything down. I
Well,
think
by
it was,
people, you mean people that weren't a part of the production.
Right.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about the party scene. We're talking about the first day, right?
Oh,
No,
I was
no.
talking about the.
Oh,
party
you're
scene
talking about the
in
party
extras.
scene. Okay.
Right, and
I was
they were all
lost, my
great.
bad.
So it didn't. That wasn't really a factor in the way that the day sort of got away from us, but. More so that it's a really long scene, and there's lots of different moments between different pairs of characters, and we're in a much smaller place than ideal. So trying to make every bit in that scene look like it was, in a different area of the room, and it was in reality, but also, trying to make the space look bigger than it is, and trying to make the crowd look bigger than it was, and that was tough. It was tricky, but I learned a lot, and I'd love to do it again.
Do you guys remember that day pretty vividly?
Yeah, I know you don't remember
I do.
anything, right?
No, I remember it like it was yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
That day, bro, that day was crazy for me.
Yeah.
Because that was the day. So my favorite day was the day we shot here because I didn't have to travel, because I was traveling 2.5 hours going and coming back every day. And then we had a day off, and then we shot the party scene, which was my personal worst day. I'm sure they could remember, but I was falling asleep in between takes. It was like, cut, action. All right, let's do it.
It kind of worked for the scene, though.
It did. My eyes came out a little, whatever. But the reason I was so crazy is because during the day off, I had the genius idea to go on a date, and it went really, really bad. And I had the decision to either take the hour ride here, get changed, and then take a 3-4 hour ride to set, or just to get to set early. So the call time was like 7 or 8. I got to set at 5:30 in a neighborhood in Brooklyn I didn't know.
So that's what you wore for your date? Was the
Yeah.
Well, no wonder it didn't go well. No,
No, that was a good one. But anyway, so
no, it was cool. It worked perfectly for the scene.
yeah. No, I looked at myself and I was like, it kind of looks like I'm going to a party, whatever. And I was just walking around the neighborhood in Brooklyn for like 3 hours, just waiting for a bodega to open or a Wendy's to open, and I was just like, all right. And then I fell asleep in somebody's car for like an hour, and they closed the door and the windows. Didn't think about me. I was burning up. And then I wake up. Yeah, and then they wake me up, and they're like, hey, it's time to film. And I'm like, all right, I'm about to film for 15 hours.
Hey, 12 hours.
But it came out great.
Never make people go over 12 hours.
Yeah, not a good look. But
Is that like illegal?
I mean,
Because
if
it is
union, right? I mean, this is assuming union people are working.
Oh,
This is
okay.
union, then if you go over 12 hours, there's going to be a lot of extra expenses and overtime that you're going to have to pay.
lawsuits on my hands.
Yeah. But no, that's pretty standard. And by that I mean you don't shoot for 12 hours. You pack up and everyone's ready to go by the end of the 12th hour. Which
Well, my concern that day when it started, like I remember, I'm like, okay, so we're getting everything ready. Like people are coming in, and I'm like, but where's Kevin? Where's Kevin? He is like we need him here, and then he's in the car locked up, like somewhere, and I don't see him.
and someone gets in the car and drives away, and he's in the back seat, just sleeping, wakes up at the airport, and that would have been a better movie. Maybe.
But luckily, the man came out of nowhere. I was like, oh, there you are.
Yes, it was like a moment of Deus Ex Machina.
I'll never forget that I was literally falling asleep between takes.
Yeah, no, that was
crazy.
That was a day. Yeah, that was a long day. Yeah, but it was great. Gabriel Rosario, who plays Manny, was in that. Yeah, he was great and wonderful to work with, as always.
My next door neighbor.
Yeah. I've known him for 10 years. He's the first person I ever met in the city, and we're still working together. Yeah, he's wonderful, and that was another special thing about shooting here was that he was in all the scenes that we shot here as well. So, yeah,
that was crazy because I remember we him and I took the same train, walked the same route, and went to the same building for rehearsals, and found out at rehearsals that we're next door neighbors.
Wait, you guys were like eyeing each other on the train? You're like,
not necessarily eyeing each other, but like I remember on the way to the rehearsal, because we rehearsed at a theater, I was like, oh, this guy is he the actor? Is he? No, he was ahead in front of me. I was like, is he the actor? I'm like, if he makes this turn, that's the guy. He made the turn. I was like, that's the guy.
Did you say anything or
no? Not until we started acting, but turns out we were next door neighbors. Crazy.
New York is this big.
Crazy. And funny thing is, I haven't seen him in the neighborhood since.
He works like crazy. He works different hours than you.
I do as well.
Teacher. Yeah.
I do as well. But like we filmed, and I never saw him again. And we live right next to each other.
He's a ghost, He's sort of like the Robin Hood of acting.
He was made to be that part.
Yeah. Well, the first time I read the script, I was like, this has got to be Gabe.
Yeah, you actually. Yeah,
I was like, I know this has got to be him. Yeah. No, he's does that type of role well.
Oh, for sure.
And my only concern about that was like, well, does your friend speak Spanish? You were like, yeah. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. Then I'll add more Spanish lines. So I put some of the lines. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, because the character is Puerto Rican in the script before we even. I was like, I know the guy. Yeah.
Yeah, fun times.
I'm going to take this moment to shamelessly plug my work. Fire with Fire is available on Apple TV. My feature film Broke is available on Amazon Prime, or you can watch Paul Makes Everything Worse on Cold Open and on YouTube. That didn't, Oh, what's up with you guys?
Now, plug in your work.
Oh, okay. Hey. My previous film is on Vimeo. It's Let Me Go. You could check it out via the link on my Instagram at The Real Yankee Case. And once I get shots up and running, I'll have a link up there as well. Whether it's YouTube or Vimeo, that's still to be determined. But yeah, check me out, and I'll put all my work up there.
And Mangú Aquí is available on Amazon Prime, as well as Vimeo. And part 2 is about to, we're starting to work on it, and we'll have it available as soon as possible. Coming up.
Yeah, buy the first one. Don't rent it. Buy it.
Thank you.
I have a web series called Paper, which is I'm the star of. I also wrote, produced, and directed it as well. Co-produced and co-directed it with my partner Omar. I have a feature film called One Life to Live, where I played the villain, and I also co-directed it as well. I'm now promoting another romantic comedy called Game of Chess, where I play the main character called Chess. I have some upcoming stuff. I'm doing my own series now, which is a spin-off of Paper. We should be done by September. This is the first time I wrote, produced, directed, casted. I did the whole thing by myself. It was all on me. Very proud of that.
Well, you're falling apart right now.
No, I'm falling apart because of allergies, which hit me at the worst time possible.
Where can we watch any of these things?
So One Life to Live was supposed to be on Tubi already. We ran into a little delay with sending the movie over, but it'll be on Tubi any day now, really. I'm expecting maybe by next week.
What about Paper? Is that available to watch?
Paper will be on Tubi. So right now I'm waiting for the final edits.
Gotcha.
So I can submit it to film festivals, but we're looking to put it on Tubi as well. Just like my series, when I'm done with it, it'll be on Tubi as well. And Game of Chess, I'm not sure where it'll be, but I'm most likely it'll be on like an Amazon Prime or maybe Tubi as well. The reason people go to Tubi so much is because they're paying back the most royalties at the moment.
Yeah.
So people are trying to get their money back, you know. But yeah, I have those things, and I also have some films in the film festival circuit. I just can't really talk about them because they're not out yet. You know how
Yeah,
that goes.
I'm excited
You know
to see
how that goes. I have some stuff that's like crazy. Yeah, I played a drunk devil. It was crazy. They put makeup on me and stuff. It was crazy.
A drunk devil.
A drunk devil.
Oh, yeah, the sober devils are no fun.
In the middle of Times Square, and you know I had to get into character. So they thought it wasn't real beer, but hey, made it great. I think I'm gonna get an award for that.
Method acting.
No, I wasn't acting. Yeah. So you can check out all the stuff. I'm sure we all promote on Instagram and other platforms as well, for sure. What has been your favorite project that you've directed?
That I've directed.
You don't have to say Mangú Aquí. That's a genuine question.
Boy, I mean, that's hard to say. My first feature film, Broke, was, really special. I just had a great team. I mean, I've had a great team all the time. Just that was also, believe it or not, one of the less stressful ones. Yeah, most of my other projects have been more stressful for different reasons. And
Did you also write it yourself?
yes.
Okay, so maybe that's probably why.
Well, all the things that I direct, I write myself, except for some of the things. But all the things that I just plugged were things that I also wrote. Yeah.
Okay.
Are we
And
trying
what
to
a-
wrap up here? Is that what's happening?
I didn't think so. But,
Okay, no, but I can Steve do this all night. Yeah.
I haven't really gave Eddie a chance to speak about his work. I mean, we know the film is called Shots. We know it's about a child getting bullied, but give us a little bit about your process. How did you go about the idea? How did the idea get conceived? How did you go with the process of getting your crew, your casting, location scouting? How did that go about?
That's a good question.
Oh my God, location scouting. Well, they always say that if you're gonna write something that you know, right? So most of the stuff that I've written and directed my own have been personal some kind of way. Like this last one, Shots, and even Let Me Go, they were kind of about, like, in my mind, they were about breakups, right? That's how they came about. And not necessarily that, like, that's what the movie's about, but that's kind of like what the premise or like the spirit of it comes from. So like the previous movie, Let Me Go, was about this woman trying to get over her husband from being in an accident. So she had to, like, let him go, basically, to move on with life. That's kind of how I felt at the time with a certain girlfriend. Hope she's not watching. So
What's her name?
Yeah, no, moving on. No, but so that's how that came about, and the spirit of that was basically to move on and to let go and to, like, be open to your own life and move forward. And so then this last one I did was about self-respect, So again, a breakup, and you have to kind of tell yourself, like, I wanted this, because I felt like a certain way, and I'm just not just gonna settle for blah blah blah. Not gonna go into personal stuff, but you feel like a certain way. You have to reiterate to yourself that, like, yeah, I don't need this, and I can move on my own, and that takes confidence, that takes self-respect, and I saw that in like this idea I had of this kid standing up to a bully. Like, what does it take? And I think that was the simplest form of gaining your own self-respect and your self-confidence, so you could move forward in life with that. If you can get over being bullied, then, that's going to take you so far, because there's a lot of people out there that just continuously just take crap from people, and I feel like you're truly an adult when you can just stand up for yourself. I don't have to take this. And that's what this kid has to go through. So not just the bully and from school, but also his father. He's going to have to face his father at some point, and his father's a cop with a gun. He's kind of a jerk, So you're not ever going to stop running into bullies. When are you going to stop running, basically? So that's kind of what my movie is about. And as far as the process, we were talking about casting before. Like, there wasn't a lot of dialogue for the kid himself, the main actor.
Really?
Right. It's a lot of like reaction and all that. He's got some stuff where he says a few things, but mostly it's his father and the bully, and I play a teacher, so I'm trying to like inspire this kid.
That's I'm sorry to cut you off, but that's very interesting that you say that the main character is not only a child but doesn't have many lines, because from the perspective of a child, he doesn't really know what's going on, and he doesn't really have enough experience to put his words together to even say something.
Right.
I haven't seen the film, but kudos to the child that you chose, because acting without words is some of the most difficult acting. And if a kid is able to do that at the age that I'm assuming he is, or she,
12. Yeah, he was
that is
12.
amazing. That is amazing.
Yeah,
that is amazing.
No, it's and the kids that we got, all the kids that we got, and they were great. But specifically, the two lead actors, the kid who played the main character, Daniel, and the bully, Julio. They were just great, and I was so lucky to find them. But I also made it a point to not like just give them dialogue to repeat, because anybody can repeat dialogue convincingly.
Oh yeah.
So what I did was I came up with cues on what I need from the actor, what I need from the character. Like what's their essence, what I need for them. So I came up with like some improv prompts for them. So like. Hey, how would you react if I'm your father and I'm telling you, no, you can't go out to meet this best friend who's moving away and you'll never see again?
And was he coming up with his own lines, or just you're trying? Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, it's a fun tool. Yeah,
I gave him like 2 or 3 different prompts for each of them, and they just
went with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's play. It's make believe ultimately, which so kids have
because
can
you never
touch
know,
into
in
that.
the moment something can happen where all of a sudden they have to stay in character.
Right.
So I need to see that, and I need to see what the emotion is that you're bringing.
Right.
Not just can you say this convincingly. I want to know, can you bring the emotion? That's what I'm looking for.
No, when I direct, I tell all of my actors, improv as much as you want. It's my job to tell you that goes against the story, because I feel like once you give an actor the freedom to do what they feel is right, or to add on to your vision and your process, that's where the magic happens, man.
Yep.
Where the magic happens. And if something goes against the story, I'll just say, cut, we'll keep it, and we'll do it again. But this time, this is why this wouldn't work, but keep going.
That's why you're the director. You're directing and guiding them through. Like, okay, no, your character wouldn't do this. Your character would do that instead. So that's where that comes into play, the guidance of it. And like I said, both these kids, they were great. And in certain spots where they went off book, quote unquote, like they just kept in character, and it was amazing because I didn't have to tell them, hold them to the side and like, listen, just keep doing this or keep doing that. They already knew instinctually. And it's so crazy because they were so inexperienced. The main kid, who was 12 years old, he only did like 2 prior films before this. And he did maybe 1 school play, and that was it. And he was just so on it. He was so observant. He was able to pick up stuff to the point where he's like, "Hey, can we get an apple box on the camera?" I'm like, "Dude, what are you doing?"
Can you give this child a shout out?
Well, I don't want to say the name because I don't want to. Parents' permission.
You're right. I was just trying to get the kids some extra work.
Oh no, listen. I mean, they're gonna be fully credited in the movie, but I just didn't want to put it without.
No, absolutely. But it's very special to be able to witness. Yeah.
But you say write what you know. Like, what exactly does that mean to you? Because I think I have an answer. Like, I want to hear what you have to say.
Well, because it's not about like, I don't know anything about like flying spaceships and like, fighting aliens. It's always about the premise. That's where you start with, And as in school, you would see a lot of people who would write stuff and like maybe even film stuff that was like cool shit, like, oh, this is cool. Let me do this. Let me put a twist on this, and and that's okay. That's cool, but something is lacking. Whether it's the heart or the characters just don't progress, whatever the case is. So it always, for me, starts with what's the premise or what's the character, who's the character at heart, and what's their issue, what's their arc. You know, that's why I always start, and that's why I said like my folder for all of my stuff for this last movie is just labeled self-respect, because that's what it's about. It's about self-respect. So anytime you know, I would go back to thinking about this character, what's he gonna do? It's always about, well, what's his journey to gain this self-respect that he needs.
It's I don't want to say clear to me because I'm going to ask you this, but it's becoming apparent to me that a lot of your films come with a message. They have a theme, but more of like a serious note. Would you ever do a film just for entertainment?
Yeah, but I would also make sure that there is something at the core of it. You know, like I have big ideas for features, and there's always going to be something at the core of it. And I feel like a really good movie is going to have some kind of message in it. So, you know, yeah, you can go make Avengers and all that. That's cool, but I mean, really, what's
there's
it
messages in Avengers, right? They had a civil war.
They had to get back together.
They fell in love, I guess.
Yeah. But for me, there's always got to be something for me to at least keep things on track, you know, to keep pushing the story forward and to keep the characters growing.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, for me, like, right, like, I agree with what you just said. Like, and I thought about as I've been writing, my whole life. Like, you do write what you know. Like, exactly what are your experiences in life? Like, for example, in the case of Roberto, the character played by Kevin. Like, I wrote what I know. Like, I haven't been through that situation, but, like, you know, how would I respond, or how did I feel when somebody went through a similar experience? How did it impact me? You know, that's, yeah. So, like, kind of like what I've seen growing up in my life, I was seeing. Yeah.
And the three of you don't act, right? Not actors by trade, or you act in your films.
Yeah.
You're not an actor.
When I have
by
to,
trade.
yeah.
You do it when
It's
you
cheaper if
need
I
to.
do it than to hire someone else and pay for their room and board and food and salary, you know. But hopefully that will come to an end someday. Yeah.
And Eddie will be in part 2 of Mangú Aquí. You know, like, I gotta say that out there. You know.
So the reason I bring that up is because when I write, how you said write what you know, me, because I'm an actor, I write from the perspective of the actor. I don't necessarily have to know what I'm writing about. I kind of just put myself there, and try to make the best lines as easy as possible.
Do you make outlines?
Yeah, not all the time. Some, but for the most part, yeah. I'll do an outline of the entire series, then I'll do an outline of the episode, then I'll do a breakdown of the scene. Like, it's all outlines within outlines. Yeah.
Man, my respect to you.
You
Like,
have
I feel
to.
like you smart now. Like, you know how hard
Now
that
you
is?
sound
I just kind of write. Like, damn, and then I got to do like 20 drafts.
No, granted, you do have your moments where you have a stream of consciousness, but outlines kind of need that.
Everyone does it differently anyway. But yeah,
everybody has their own
sometimes I write
process.
straight through, and sometimes I need the outline just to keep the beats in order. You know, you want to make sure you hit the right beats at the right time.
Yeah, for sure. And it's especially because I fell in love with writing, and I want to be able to get paid from it, which is why I support the strikes. But in order to be able to do that, you have to go through the process of being a staff writer, being a script supervisor, and all that. And you have to know. Like, I found out, I wrote my series, and I didn't even consider writing for commercial breaks. I didn't notice that when you write an episodic, you have to do 3 acts, and in between the acts are commercials. I didn't realize that because once I started writing, streaming was already a thing. You know, but you still have to learn that style because you might have to write for television, even though it might go to streaming. You know, that's just an example. And I also didn't know that it's taboo to have characters start with the same letter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I learned that as well.
Yeah.
Doing research. It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it just kind of helps. Like, you want your audience to follow easy. Like, you know, like if one of your characters is named Roberto and the other one is named Ramon, it's like, it's hard to distingush. Yeah.
Yeah.
Timmy and Tommy.
So, yeah, right. So Roberto and Luke, okay, fine. But you could do that.
Do you guys have a specific scene that you've written that really stood out to you that you're like, yo, I really wrote that? Like, I wrote that.
That sounds like something you're proud of. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, not from Mangú Aquí though, because I didn't write that. But yeah, so I think everything else would. But yeah, no, there's moments you're proud of and moments you're less proud of, especially
Can you
hindsight
give me
is
like
2020.
an example?
Boy. Yeah, I mean, the problem is I don't want to like give anything away or go into a too deep dive of context because that'll take forever. But moments where it's where everything just kind of comes together, the timing and the shot and the music and the acting, they all just kind of come together perfectly. But it all starts from the writing. It all comes from the writing, and everyone who's doing their work is taking it from the writing, right? And so it's a great, you can learn, oh, this moment is really speaking to people, and this moment maybe not so much, right? Based on how the crew and the actors, react to it and how they handle it and what's clear and what's not clear. Yeah.
It's so cool because you'll write something and you'll go over it in your head so many times and you see it in your head a certain kind of way, and then you actually have to go out and film it and block it out and get the right angle on it and everything, and you just like, is this corny? Like what I wrote, is this just corny? Does it not make sense? Is it not hitting? And then like everything just comes together in a certain kind of way because the acting, the performances, the lighting, the way your DP panned or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you see it and you're like, wow, wait, this is from my head. This is from my brain, and now it's real, and people see it.
A lot of other people's brains. It's just your brain was the origin, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about you. It's filmmaking is collaborative.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's a very common misnomer with the layman, as you might put it. But this idea that the director is this auteur who controls everything. But on the best sets, you have 10 different creative people all making creative decisions at the same time, and you might be checking and overseeing things, but you bring together the right people.
So
who,
you're there guiding because in my case, like I write the stuff, right? So I know what I'm looking for. But
Right.
there's a balance that you need. You can't just be that dictator and say no. This is where it's going to go. But you can't also just let everyone else do what they want because you don't get it. You don't see the point of it. Blah blah blah. I understand what this is supposed to be. So there's a balance of like, we have to keep it this way, but at the same time taking input from others. Because maybe somebody has a better idea about this. So you have to be open to the director of photography. You have to be open to the actors about, hey, what if I say this instead? Or these lines are redundant. Can we get rid of this?
Yeah.
If you're stubborn, say, no, I want you to say it exactly like that. And then when you see it, later on when you're editing it, you're like, wow, that was so bad.
Go ahead.
I like the question though because like I think that for me like when like we're talking about Mangú Aquí here like when you say like like what was your favorite moment of writing like the scenes with the mother.
Oh, I knew you were gonna say it. I knew he was gonna say it.
Well,
Because it comes off. You could tell.
So as I'm writing it, I'm laughing.
Yeah,
I was
I knew you were
laughing
gonna
so
say
hard as I was writing it. And then the beautiful thing is that at the premiere,
Yep.
everybody was like laughing the hardest during those scenes.
Yep.
So it's nice that like I feel like I was with the crowd, like I was with the
Yep.
audience. It's just that I saw it
Yep.
before they did, type thing.
That- Real quick, I'm gonna let you go, but that was a teachable moment for me because when we were filming that, maybe because I was in the scene, I didn't realize how funny it was until we saw it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shoot. Sometimes, even with you telling me to do certain things that I didn't really get at the time, but when you see it and people's reaction to it, you're like, oh, that's why they told me to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's why she, this came off like that. But keep
Yeah, no, and then so now that I'm pretty much in the third draft of part 2 now. Like like one more and it'll be the final draft. So I'm in this draft and there's one part where I'm almost about to cry and I'm like, oh, is this what the audience is gonna feel too? Are they so I'm looking forward to seeing that. Like, I want to know. Like I want to watch it in a premiere again where everybody and I'm gonna be looking at the people. As people are watching the screen, I'm just gonna be like this.
Yeah. You almost want your back to the screen. And you
Yeah,
just want to be like,
But that's like the risk you take, right? Because you know, like, is this gonna land? Is this gonna?
Yes.
That's why going to see things is so important. You really have to study audiences and feel what an audience is feeling in a crowd as a way, right? And when you're writing, you're creating, but you're also an audience to your own creation. And so you need. I'm sorry, I sound like I'm so high right now, but I'm not. But you're an audience to your own creation, and you have to try to think about what would the sentiment of an audience be. And every audience is different, so it's a very difficult thing to pinpoint down, especially with humor and comedy, where it's just so subjective and all over the place. But yeah, being in crowds and being in audiences and watching things and being sensitive to what they're feeling, I think is also just a great teacher. Yeah, that's why it's so important to go see stuff with an audience. Yeah,
Right. They give you the best feedback.
yeah, because it's always honest. They can't help it, right? They will never. They can't bullshit you with the way a friend could be like, yeah. That was great, but an audience will always be honest with you up front, and that's what you need. Yeah, absolutely.
Like you think it's gonna be funny, or if it's gonna be like horror or whatever, and if they don't react, that's like, things fail fast. So that's the only way to learn. Yeah. That was the last movie, Let Me Go, was in the Dominican Film Festival, and I saw it like with people like in the audience, and it was just so crazy because there are beats that are coming up, and I'm like, oh, here we go, and then all of a sudden you would hear the audience go, oh,
Yeah.
oh.
That was very special, right? Yeah. No, I told you, right? I was like, you're in for a treat, just because I knew it wasn't, there might be some moments that fall flat, but overall it was going to work, and it did. And it's special. Yeah, it's a very special experience.
Just like cringing, like waiting, and then like the last moment, people go, oh, like they.
Wait, so you went to the Dominican Film Festival? That's a big deal, man.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. Congrats.
Yeah, man. It was funny how I went about too, because it was already past the deadline when I found it, and I saw it a year before, and I just completely forgot what the deadline was, and I reached out to the head of programming, and they were like, I mean, yeah, I guess, because I'm like, yeah, I'm Dominican, and I've completely forgotten, blah, 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 and he's like, all right, just send me the thing, let me see it, and we'll see. So I sent it over, and they wrote back like, oh yeah, we'll accept you. Cool. This is well done and well structured. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I just got in.
Nice.
Like
nice.
it's just crazy and surreal.
No, awesome.
And to actually be there and like I said with the audience, and because like you said, it's one thing to watch it yourself, and you watch the movie yourself like 100 times.
No.
So many different.
By the time you get to that 100th time, you hate it. It's like every creative decision being forced back in my face is.
And then you have like friends and family watch it, and they're like, oh, it's good, and you're like, that doesn't help me. Like, I appreciate you like it.
you're supposed to tell me it's good.
Right. And then when you actually see with an audience, like you said, like they can't fake it.
And
No,
an
they're
audience
always
of
honest.
filmmakers too.
Right.
Gotta add that too.
Yeah. So it was amazing. So we're looking forward to like getting into more festivals and all that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was this a Dominican Film Festival in New York or the one in New Jersey?
This one here in New York, yeah.
Oh.
So it was
Are they different? I thought they were
It's
like the same thing.
people.
Yeah.
They just do it at different times, Jersey
Right.
and then New York, and I think they're gonna start it in DR also.
Nice.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
That's
Hell
awesome.
yeah.
And I think Miami. I think I read.
Dominican. Oh, I was gonna say Dominican Power, but I don't mean it like that.
First the DR, then the world. Let's just put it that way. Yeah.
All right, moving on.
So what are your guys' goals for the next year of filming? Filmmaker goals? Anything you guys have planned with? I know you spoke about projects that you have working on, but anything you have? Any goals you have?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my goal, I'm focused on part 2 and part 3 right now. So I think I said before we started that I actually have 7 chapters written for Mangú Aquí. It's actually a
By
series.
7 chapters, you mean like Mangú 7? Like, are we on some Fast and Furious shit? Or like
Well, it's a series.
Mangú Aquí over there.
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, it's something like that. So
Mangu Aquí.
why not?
Los tres
The
golpes.
spin-off series. Yeah.
Los tres golpes
Yeah,
aquí.
right. Salchicha.
But yeah, I mean, like, I have that project that started from the pandemic, and it's like I go back and read it, and then I make fix here and they're like, oh, this could be better, like, because I feel like after like making one and filming this first film, I feel like I'm a lot of a better writer than before.
And writing for production is its own skill.
Yes.
Writing for set, right? A lot of people, it's for any writer, screenwriter out there. It's so important to get on set as much as you can to see what actually happens and what's possible and what's impossible.
And to see how your actors say your line, like literally say your line.
Right, but I
Literally
mean,
say your
even
lines.
get on sets that you have nothing to do with, right, in terms of the writing or some such, because people will write film scripts and they've never been on a set and they have no idea, you know, how to actually organize these moments based on what's possible to shoot wise,
Yes.
especially, you know, assuming
Oh
you're low
my
budget. And if
gosh.
you're low budget, that's who I'm talking to.
I just had an entire meeting about that same thing, and it was like, bro, how are we gonna shoot this? Like, think about it. How are we gonna do all of these things within our budget?
Yeah, and writing for budget as well is its
Yeah.
own skill, which is very you know,
Like you could tone it down a little bit. You know, like
cut the dragon out maybe, you
know,
and the
you
Oompa
know.
Loompa.
They didn't make $8 billion. They made 80,000. You know,
Yeah.
well, little things like that.
No, that is big. That is something you have to take into account when you write. And but still, it just like things just get out of hand sometimes. Like I thought what I wrote was simple. All right, we're just gonna need a house. We're gonna be outdoors, exteriors, a park. You know, we're gonna need a school. Easy.
All I heard was the public messing up your shoots. That's all I heard. Kids running in, trying to be in your movie. That's all I heard.
Yeah, no, we had because we shot in Forest Park in Queens, right?
Oh,
Where we were basically having the kids like walk past each other and then like fight, and then we ended up on this overpass overlooking like a train tracks, and so we're doing this from like about maybe 4 to like maybe 7:30 or so, and people would just like stop, you know. And even we had the camera facing that way, and they're coming up against camera, and they just stop. And I'm behind the camera like, you know, like, keep moving. What are you doing?
Did you have
natural, please.
Did you have any little cash with you? Because
Oh, for me. It's a must. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
on set. If
I
you're
learned that
shooting
from him, but that's
exteriors,
a lot.
always have cash on you, right? Petty cash for.
So you just like,
Yeah.
hey, money.
Oh, all the time.
No,
we did
he'll
it almost 5 or 6
literally
times
be
for
like,
this
hey,
set.
can you just like 10 minutes like here? Just
Or can you turn down your music? That's the big
Yeah.
one for me,
Yeah.
especially
So
when
we
you're
had to
shooting in
do-
Dominican neighborhoods, right? Turn down your music, please. Here's $20.
Nah,
Yeah.
people be like, all right,
Yeah.
$20, whatever.
Yeah, it's supposed to be he's arrested. He's marching out. You're gonna have men in the background, like the people dancing. Like,
Yeah.
But yeah, let's continue with the goals talk. Anything you guys have like yours?
I mean, the one skill I can't seem to master when it comes to film production is fundraising, right? And that's the problem we all run into. It's just getting people to believe in your project and be willing to lose money because there's not a lot of money in indie film, right?
Yeah.
You know, and that's, you know, what everyone on the planet is kind of trying to do. How do I get people to give me money?
We actually, I gotta disagree.
Do it.
Gotta disagree with this guy. Like we are actually able to raise funds. People right now they are going on our website manguaki.com and they're actually buying tickets for the premiere that is upcoming. So we have
Can I just tell you that game plan was genius?
which one?
That game plan for fundraising, you buy the ticket to the premiere. Oh my God, that was so
I
smart.
imagine it's difficult to get people to buy
was
tickets
so
for something
smart.
that hasn't even been shot yet, though.
It's very hard. Like I'm,
but that was smart though. I was like, wow. That's
and you know
crazy.
what? LA, I gotta thank my
Oh no,
executive producer.
I know LA thought about it. I know you didn't.
No, it was genius because right now it's a way to, for us to raise some money and even to, and at the same time to promote the film, because we want this time a bigger venue because the last premiere was sold out, some people were standing and we don't want that to happen again. We wanted to see it on a big screen with 300 people. That's the goal.
That's a goal. Well, yeah, I mean, I didn't mean fundraising for you. I meant for my personal projects, right? Or for anyone's personal projects, right? That's always the thing. Yeah. Or for anything, yeah.
What about you, man? Any goals you have this year, or in the 12-month cycle?
yeah. Well, so yeah, to finish up, post on shots and get it out there. You have to do your research for film festivals because you can't just throw it online because then that may disqualify you from festivals.
Yeah, absolutely.
There's certain ones that there's a lot of them that take screenings. I mean, streaming.
Right. So
Yeah,
you have to be
for
careful
sure.
with that.
sure.
And then at the same time, I was thinking about there was this 48-hour competition I was thinking of doing.
I saw that too.
Month, but I may not end up doing that. But I do have an idea that I want to shoot, so I may just do that on my own. Just cheap and easy, quick, camera phones, my drone. And then there's like a web series kind of thing that I wanted to do, like Luke and I were talking about before with character animator. So I wanted to do that as well because I'm funny.
Yes.
I'm glad somebody. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I'm funny, right?
With a grandma who shows up in boxers with
made you
Cheetos.
laugh.
Okay, this ain't Teletubbies. No, but yeah, so I want to do some of that and also help out like some friends also as well. Like if somebody needs whatever, a PA, I'm always available to help or just a boom,
Yeah, no, get on set as often as you can. That's
So, but that's been where my head's at, and also writing. I do want to write a few treatments and send them out, to some people and see what happens from there. But yeah, it's constantly always there's another idea in my head. I was talking to my DP from the last 2 movies about like how could we do this shot? Because I'm already thinking of like some kind of like love story thing. Because remember the last 2 were like about breakups, and I'm thinking about like what if I do the opposite and it's like people meeting cute and like just being really visual and like artistic and like how could I get a certain kind of shot, and then kind of like build around that. Like that's the premise of them meeting and the love that they're forming.
you have a trilogy then.
Sort of, yeah. Sort of like my own Edgar Wright kind of,
Your own Before Sunrise, After Sunset.
Yeah,
series,
right, exactly. Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's where my mind's at. I'm always trying to write something just because I don't know. I'm always daydreaming.
How about you, Kevin?
Yeah, man.
I need a Best Actor award.
There it is.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do for the next year. Any project I take on right now, I'm going into it with the intent that this will go out for award shows and I will get a Best Actor award because I don't need it for validation for me. I know who I am, but I need people to stop playing with me. So I need a Best Actor award.
Gotcha.
No. It's a little selfish, but it is what it is.
No,
selfish,
it holds weight, whatever it is. You can say, hey, listen, I earned this.
Well, for what it's worth, I mean, I will tell you that people that I'm close to that have seen the movie, they all have, praised your acting. They were like,
Thank you.
wow, like this guy really played the role really well. Like people who I have a lot of respect for, who are smart and I think have like an eye for art. So
Thank you. I do feel like I could get an award for this, for sure. But I've grown so much since this film. Like, bro, when I did this film, that's when I knew I could do this for the rest of my life. Because I've never done a production that intense. And it wasn't even like crazy intensity. Like it's not like a horse or anything. But just like a real production. Most of the stuff I've done before this was a boom mic and a handheld. And that was like the first time I saw like a gaffer. I was like, what?
This was a low budget, high budget.
I might have even asked you guys like, yo, what's the first AC? Like, and ever since then, like this last year, it's just been nonstop work. Like, bro, I did a movie in 4 days. They shot 80% of the movie, fired the main character, gave me the script on Wednesday. I was on set Saturday. We were done in 4 days.
This was a short film?
No,
It was
feature length
you
film.
shot in 4 days?
I just released a trailer 2 days ago.
How long of a feature length film?
Like about 90 minutes.
Damn. Yeah.
It was like 16, 18-hour days.
Oh yeah, that'll do it.
Back to back to back to back, and that's when I knew like, yeah, I'm good because nobody else could have did. Well,
Yeah,
other
but
people
don't
coulda
burn
did
yourself
that.
out though. Like
I mean, I don't care about that, but like,
I mean, you're
that's-
burned out at the end of any shoot, right?
Yeah, but that's when I knew.
18 hours now.
But that's when I knew I was like, yeah, I could do this because like I would go to set, and they would pick me up in New York and we filmed it in Jersey, and I would get into the car and I'm like, hey guys, be honest with you, I don't know any of my lines today, but we're gonna get it done, and we got it done.
Sometimes that's how you got to do. You just rough it out.
No, I was like reading my lines while you're doing your takes. I'm reading my lines. Now let's flip the camera. I know my lines. Like, bro, I got the entire movie done in 4 days. Wow. So yeah, I need my awards, bro.
Yeah, because we have rehearsals for Mangú Aquí. You were rehearsing and
We only did 3 rehearsals, right? 3, right?
Yeah, I think it was 3.
We
Yeah,
only did 3 rehearsals.
that's a good amount for the amount of text we were working with. Yeah.
Yeah, rehearsals can be tough
Yeah, I think they're so necessary, though. I think they're essential.
Oh, it's incredibly necessary.
Yeah.
Incredibly necessary.
Yeah. No, I rehearse everything. Yeah, I mean, and you know, it's going to be different when you get on set, but you got to have some idea of how people are approaching, you know, the scene and the idea of it and what's happening.
And in-person rehearsals too, because Zoom you can only do so much.
I'm never going
do
near
so
Zoom. No, I don't know how anyone operates over that. Yeah.
I was gonna ask then. So your rehearsals, are you thinking about blocking at the same time?
Of course.
Well, yeah, but the thing is, I love to be flexible, right? I mean, I already have a shot list, but I want to be flexible to what the actors bring to the table, right? And if they're bringing something to the table, so I'm not going to be like, move here on this line, right? I'd rather see what they come up with naturally, and then adapt my vision to that, have them adapt their visions to mine. You know, again, you bring the best of all worlds, and
So people who don't know what blocking is the movement of the actors while you're shooting.
Right. Yeah.
So like, you know, you're gonna start here and you're gonna move. Right, exactly. Right. So you need to rehearse. It's like a dance almost.
Right, yeah. But the DP needs that rehearsal too, and so does anything that's
sure.
the sound person too. If he's got to move everyone needs that, right? Yeah. So rehearsal is essential. Of course, I didn't bring crew people to I sometimes will bring a DP to rehearsal if there's a lot of complicated camera movement.
If you have a good DP though, like you don't need it, but it always helps. Like I've been on set where a DP would say, "All right, what's going on? Boom, boom, boom. All right, I got it."
Yeah.
There are good people out there, but if they would have came to rehearsal, it would have been so much better. We would have had a meeting about just photography. Like it would have been amazing, you know.
Pre-production meetings, yeah. I mean, if I don't have them come to rehearsal, we'll definitely have pre-production meetings. Absolutely, where you go over every shot. Yeah, I think that's essential. Yeah.
That's key. Gotta have everyone on the same page.
Yeah, no, you have to. Yeah, you can't just wing it for something like this. And
Yeah, not the level that we're going, man.
No, especially for a feature. No, you need to know and not waste time.
No, yeah, time is everything. Yeah, that's always what we're fighting against.
Time.
Yeah, always.
Especially if you're outdoors too, like with the sun. Like we have so much time with the sun.
Oh man.
Right. Yeah. No, if you're gonna shoot outdoors, shoot in the summer.
Oh man.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, I just directed a basketball movie this weekend, and we had so many things go wrong. Like the rain was supposed to come at 3. It ended up coming at like 6. So within those 3 hours, we were like, "Yo, what are we gonna do?" Then out of nowhere, a basketball tournament started happening. They set up, so now we can't shoot on that entire other side. Now the young kids are playing music. And now I gotta tell them like, yo, I'm from the block, like chill, like I know your brother, like relax, like.
You didn't have petty cash, I'm assuming.
Yeah, then like the actors didn't bring a tank top like I told them, so now they're sweating in the first scene, but now they're not sweating in the second scene. And it's like, bro, like, you know, people not showing up, so now you got to say their lines. Like, a lot of stuff going on, and then you know with the basketball thing, like catching a lot of the action takes so much, and then at the end we're like, yo, we didn't even do the dialogue, and I'm like, all right, let's chop up the script, right? Like it's a lot, bro. It's a lot.
Gotta get wild lines, and you gotta make sure that get the action consistent. And
Yeah. It's a lot.
Why do we do this? Why do we do this to ourselves? I don't know.
When you love what you do what you love.
Hey, this is the kind of stress I'd rather have than what I'm doing now, 9 to 5. You know, I don't need that kind of stress. I'd rather be like, okay, this person didn't show up, or now the sun's gone, or what can we do? Like, I'd rather have that kind of stress and conflict than anything else.
For something that you don't care about, yeah, no.
Right.
It is stressful.
Well, that's why I don't want to be a director. Like I kind of saw your stress, and I was in it too. I was like assistant director. I'm like, yeah, I don't want this. I just want to stick to writing and producing.
A stress reliever of that is getting your own crew, like how he has.
Right.
People that you know are reliable.
Yeah,
Like
I mean,
I told
but
you,
a lot goes wrong though.
For sure, but like I told you, I mentioned one of my younger actors earlier, and how I call him because I know he'll show up. I know he's ready. I know he's good to go. I have another like 2 or 3 actors that I'm like, oh, I need somebody. Cool, you can do it. All right, cool. I know I sent them the script. They'll show up to rehearsal. They'll show up on time. They're ready to go. That takes out a lot of your stress. Availability and easy to work with. Work ethic.
Yeah, because you run into some people that are just like, I can't work with this jackass anymore.
Oh yeah, like this is the last time I'm gonna work with you.
Yeah, exactly, right. You're in your mind, like the second or third day, whatever. Like you're like never working with this person.
Bro, I've had people show up to set one time, and then they're like, "If I'm gonna come back, I gotta get paid." I'm like, "Oh, great, great, okay, keep thinking that."
Yeah, that's wow.
Yeah, I've seen it.
But no, like luckily, I just got a lot of friends from school, and most of them worked on the last 2 movies with me, and you know, we did get also some new people, like somebody, like I wanted specifically someone that was going to shoot BTS for us, some behind the scenes stuff. So you know, a friend of mine knew someone else, and we brought him on, and it was the first time he's ever been like on set, like doing a movie, and every day he was like, "This is so cool, this is so fun. I want to do this again," you know.
Yeah, when things are going, it's a special. There's nothing better, you know, than being on set. When things are, you know, not going terribly, then there's nothing better. It's the best thing in the world. Absolutely, yeah.
Well, clearly we're gonna do Mangú Aquí 7, so we're not going anywhere.
No, we will. It's happening. Oh, it's
We're
happening.
just gonna skip from 2 to 7, you know.
No. We're going from
They're gonna be robots.
in order.
Mangu.
We're going in order, man.
We could do it like a mystery. Like now we're in 7, and now we got to go backwards.
Like, how
Actually,
did this get here?
no joke
Kind
aside.
of like Star Wars.
Listen, had I had the budget from the very beginning that I really wanted to, so I'm getting the budget as I go along. You know, as we build each episode, you know, our budget is increasing. So we're lucky like that. But had I had the budget all together at once, Mangú Aquí, what we shot together would have been like episode 6 or 8, where we go back in time. That's how I had planned it out.
Right.
We go back in time, and then, you know, the
Right.
other stuff. But
We could have shot one episode entirely in reverse.
man, I didn't think of that one.
No. All right, so let's wrap this up. I want to give you guys some quick hitters. I'm just go off the top of my head, and we'll just do this for a little bit and get out of here. Give me a favorite director that inspired you growing up.
Martin McDonough. Martin McDonough. He just did The Banshees of Inisherin. My favorite film in Bruges was him. He did 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. He also started in theater, so my favorite plays are his as well. The Pillow Man is the best thing ever written as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, check him out.
Nice. What about you, Galito?
Director, well, Steven Spielberg. I like his personal story, how he today is Steven Spielberg, but before he was Steven Spielberg, a regular person.
Steven Spielberg, a regular person.
Yes.
Really?
What a
Right?
name.
With the last name Spielberg?
And the
So
last name regular person.
So the point is that, you know, you can work hard and become something that everybody sees you. Like one time, there's gonna be a time where they see us and they be like, "What? Those people? What? They did a regular small thing in an apartment, a podcast." And then, you know, you see us somewhere else, you're like,
Bro,
what?
I am waiting for the woman to DM me like, "Hey, I knew you." I'm waiting for it.
No, it's what you said
I'm
earlier.
not bougie.
It's what you said earlier. You know, you need that award, you know, like best actor. Like,
Yeah,
and it's going to
yeah,
come.
yeah,
And it's like,
yeah,
oh, now, like, everybody's going to be, yes, it's happening. Because,
Like Big Pun said,
Big
if
Pun?
I knew you from elementary school, I don't know you, man. Where I know you from? Elementary school. I don't know you, man.
That's
well, we didn't have Facebook
Unless
back
she
then.
was hot.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite director?
I can't say I have just one. I have a few. Quentin Tarantino is cool. Edgar Wright is awesome. I love his transitions.
Yeah.
It's like he comes up with the craziest, like, awesome stuff. It just makes me think of, like, I had to think about transitions because of Edgar Wright.
Yeah.
And David Fincher, love his stuff. I like the way he colors everything.
Did you see Mank? I watched Mank
didn't see it
recently.
yet,
Oh,
no.
it's so good.
I-
You know,
I-
it's
I've
just
gotta watch
yeah. David Fincher's one of the best out there.
There's actually a scene in Shots where, you know, it's a room and I'm outside, like Video Village, whatever, right? And I'm just watching it and I'm like, holy shit, this is like something Fincher would shoot, like the color and like the way the kid came into the room, and like I can't ruin it because it's
Right.
a big part of the movie, but like I'm watching, I'm like, holy crap, I can't. And then like the father of the kid, he's like telling me later on, like, that was so scary right there what I saw, and I'm like, that's like Fincher, man.
Oh, that's great.
That's
I can't
the
wait to
way
see
he
it.
composed it. And yeah, Spielberg. Like I watched like all sorts of crap, like on on Spielberg, and like how he blocks, you know, and
Yeah.
like
I mean, he's been doing it for longer than anyone.
Yeah.
He's one of those guys. The only guy who can do every single genre. He's done every single genre of film successfully, right? Right.
like comedy, fantasy, horror, drugs,
Musical, right? I mean, I don't care about musicals at all, but West Side Story was just incredible.
One of my acting friends that I grew up with played Bernardo.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, we were.
he was great in it. Yeah.
Oh my God, was he? His name is David Alvarez. We had the same acting coach, rest in peace, and Rattray, and we took classes together, and we were me, him, and my other friend. I don't want to say his name, but we were like the three musketeers. Like we couldn't separate us. And at that time, he already had a Tony Award. He was Billy Elliot, and then I'm watching. I go to see West Side Story by myself in the Upper West Side, like blocks away from where we had the classes, and I'm texting him while watching the movie, like, bro, this is crazy. Like, yeah, and we were having like that moment while I'm watching the film and stuff. Yeah, my favorite director is Martin Scorsese. I like that. Maybe all of his films are set in New York. Is it all of them at this point, or did he move on?
No. I mean,
But a majority of them were like set in New York City. He made me fall in love with my city from a visual aspect, and a lot of his imagery and moments. I also like that he chooses an actor and he's like, I'm gonna do 7 films with you, like, and we're gonna get down.
DiCaprio, Robert De Niro.
Yeah, we're gonna get that chemistry down. I love that, and I also love Brian De Palma. He inspires me a lot because I like to do a lot of moving shots when I direct, and I get that from Brian De Palma.
That's how I think about like Spielberg. I see a lot of his like oneers and how he blocks and reframes. Like I just think like that's so cool, that's so efficient, but you have to think it through first. You know, you have to like rehearse that and block it out. But like it's so cool to start with a tight shot and then end up with a wide. You know, just playing with it and like how does it relate to the scene, to the shot? Like what's the emotion? Like that's what I think of. Like I want to do it like he does. Like not just whatever, but purposefully. You know, it just makes me want to think like let me do it like he did.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's keep it going. Give me 3 dinner guests, dead or alive.
3 what?
3 dinner guests, dead or alive.
Oh,
Dead or alive?
Yeah, that you would just chop it up, do a podcast with.
Martin McDonough, Shakespeare, and Harriet Tubman. Why not?
Okay. What about you, Galito?
Socrates.
Nice.
oh, your mic.
Socrates. Yeah, sorry, forgot about that. He'll be my number 1. The second person I will go to is Atahualpa, and the Inca leader of Peru at the time, and
Me.
and Luke Bond.
Hell yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
Bless you. Yeah, I don't know. I never really thought about that.
Think about it.
You want to take it while he thinks about it, Kevin?
Sure.
Such a good director, man.
50 Cent, Jay-Z, and Kevin Hart.
Okay.
3 of my biggest inspirations.
That'll be a fun table. That'll be a fun dinner, yeah.
That'll be 3 of my biggest inspirations.
Yeah. All right. I don't know. It'd be cool to, like you said, chop it up with like Spielberg for one. I don't know how realistic that would be, but does it have to be real? Can it be fictional?
Sure, throw a wrench in there. Why not?
Can I talk to Batman? Like, what's going on? Like,
Which one?
the real
Like,
Batman?
are you the hero or are you the villain?
Yeah. Are you the Dark Knight that we all need?
Yes.
That we all deserve? No. And I don't know. Maybe my grandfather, my mom's father, because I never really got a chance to. She always talks about him, so I think it'd be cool just to get sort of like where you came from, you know. Like,
Okay.
like speak with like my father and my mom a lot about like the history of DR and all that. So just to kind of have a different perspective because he died when I was young. I think I was like 2.
Oh, wow. Wow. Damn, rest in peace. All right, let's do 2 more and get out of here. One thing you do in the morning and one thing you do at night. Like right when you wake up and right before you go to bed.
This might be dangerous.
Well, no, I exercise. I exercise at night, in the morning. At night, I mean, I'm always eating, so I'm trying not to eat at night. That's what I'm not trying to do now, even though I'm kind of do sometimes. It's hard for me.
Brush my teeth. I mean, I love, it depends on what kind of morning you have and how early you have to be up. And, luckily in this industry, I get to do a lot of late nights. But, I love you watch something, really. Even if it's just 20 minutes of something when you wake up and before you go to sleep, it's just a great way to have that bookend on your day. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Get up and roll out of bed, and No, you know what? I go to my phone. I don't know. I just like look to see what happened, and meanwhile, because I go to sleep late too, because that's my job takes me to like later hours. So check my texts, emails, blah blah blah. That's all boring stuff. But late at night when I'm done, I like watching TV. I'll play some video games for a little while, because I'm a big gamer. Like,
Check out the PS5 and stuff.
yeah, I know this. I see.
It's hard to miss over there.
Yeah, no, I'm a big time gamer. I love Nintendo, PlayStation. I've got too many games to even play, and so I'll play something. But then at the end of the night, I have to watch some sort of TV. Whether that's going on YouTube and watching some like film related stuff, like how to do this, how to do that, or if I'm watching like whatever Hulu, Apple TV, just something different, just something because I like seeing different things.
Yeah.
And you never know where you'll find inspiration. Like you'll watch some stuff like I've been watching Shrinking.
Oh, I've heard it's amazing. I went to school with Luke Tenney, the guy, the
Oh,
tall
cool.
guy. Yeah, no,
He's really, really good.
Oh, isn't he? Yeah, but yeah, I haven't checked it out yet. But I've heard it's amazing.
Yeah, no, it's really good. You gotta check it out.
I haven't checked it out, but I'll check it out now. Yeah.
But it's because I don't have Apple TV. But I should get on that. Yeah.
When I wake up, I check my emails and I check Backstage right away. I try to get there as soon as possible. I try to be first on the. I feel like once you see me, you don't need to see anybody else. And
Best actor.
the last thing I do before I go to sleep, I usually play dominoes on my phone.
Oh wow,
Yeah, I'm Dominican like that. Yeah.
that's crazy. What, against people or like the computer?
No, against people.
Oh, I don't know.
No, against people. 68%. You feel me? Win percentage. You feel me? I'm outside. All right. Last question before we get out of here. And I'm saying this in case you were manifesting it, in case it ever happens, where they said it. What is your dream film to make? Don't give me a cliche answer like my next film that I'm going to make, or I already did the film. No, give me like a real, if you had like the ultimate budget, what is a film you would like to do?
Ultimate budget. I mean, I'm always, kind of obsessed with the one that I want to do next, and it's like everything else has to wait until that one's done, So it's hard. I know you just said don't do that, but it's like you got to. I mean, I guess if I'm trying to think really big budget, which I never really do, but I've always wanted to do like a pirate swashbuckling movie. It's a genre that's pretty much dead, and the Pirates of the Caribbean movies are, there's one good one in 10 of them. It's such a genre that's died before westerns are on their way out too, and I'd love to see a revival of that, and swashbuckling. Yeah.
So I've been thinking a lot about doing a film about the Taínos in Quisqueya, and maybe going back in time where we give them advice and like, okay, these people, these are the kind of weapons they have. This is what they're bringing. And so you need to prepare because they're about to get here. So how do they deal with that information? We go there one time and they come and they're ready.
Sorry.
I would watch that. Yeah.
It's, I don't know. I like history. I like politics. I like, justice.
I mean, you got 4 writers and 3 directors and an actor, so 2 actors. So I don't know what you.
So what's holding us back?
Money. Money's
That's always it, right?
No, and we got the
I would like
I'm
to
always
direct a movie that gets me lots of money. That's to make the other ones.
Well, I'm gonna have a big budget, but all I'm saying, like we already have, like some of the indigenous people what they may look like, and we may have some of the Spaniards what they look
can hit
like.
up some of my scammer friends.
I'm saying though, like European descent.
What about you?
Sorry.
Eddie?
That's enough.
I feel like I've got a few ideas of what I would like to do. Like as far as like big budget, like it really really bugs me that they started to make like video game movies now and like legit ones,
my
like the Super Mario Brothers. Like I was so scared because I have ideas, man.
They're making a Jack and Daxter movie, and that.
Jack and Daxter.
wanna get into
No, but like they've gotten better because the Resident Evil movies were shit.
I mean, there was a while where video games movies, all of them were terrible, right? There was like kind of like a curse:
Right.
death, money, and video games suck. Video game movies suck, right? Until like The Last of Us came along, and there was the
I
one.
love The Last of Us.
I don't support
Good
that
one.
at all.
The show, I have a few issues with the show. Just I feel like it didn't land.
Right, but it wasn't trash. Like,
No, right,
like
no,
the
it
most
was
of
well
the.
done. It was-
I don't
it was-
I don't support anything about The Last of Us because it's made by Naughty Dog. That was the developer, the video game developer, and they made Jack and Daxter, which is my favorite video games of all time. And the more that The Last of Us succeeds, the further away we are from getting another Jack and Daxter game. So,
I see.
I'm sure it's great. I love the actors in it, but sorry,
No, I get
can't
you.
do it.
But it also depends like who you work with, right? Because I love Uncharted also. Naughty Dog.
Uncharted was great,
And the movie
I loved
was-
Uncharted too.
The movie was, you know,
It was alright. It was alright.
I missed that one. Yeah.
It was alright. It was a lot of like I play this character in every movie type of thing, but it was good though
so
for what they could have done. It could have been a lot worse.
but like so I would. But the reason I bring that up is because I love the Legend of Zelda. I need to do like
Bro,
a Legend
I
of Zelda
want-
trilogy, like Lord of
Yo.
the Rings style.
I've been thinking of that, and I feel like Hunter Schafer would be great to play Link.
Link. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've been thinking of that for a long
I've
time.
got
bro.
the entire trilogy in my head, like written out. Like it just that's why I'm afraid of like, oh my god, the Super Mario Brothers. And I have a Super Mario movie in mind, like live action.
Nice,
It's just like
nice.
but I'm
Might as well just write it, bro. You never know.
yeah. The thing is I'm happy with what they did, Illumination, because it was like a family thing and it wasn't like totally what I had in mind. So at least they're not killing my idea and I can still do something.
For sure.
So, but yeah, man, Legend of Zelda. I have, I was thinking like they have like a series now too, so that may not happen. But like the Mirabelle sisters.
Yeah, I heard there's a series coming out. Or is it out
from
already?
Hulu. Yeah, it's like
It's out already. Or it's coming
on,
out because I heard
Spanish
about
Hulu.
it. I heard about it. Oh
So
shit.
it's not out like U.S. yet, but I think and
Yeah, I heard about
the thing
that.
that got me though is I thought it was a documentary, but they actually did it like a historical kind of series.
So the Marival sisters, you want to quickly say who they are, what kind of figures they are in the Dominican Republic?
Yeah, so if anybody knows about the history of like the Caribbean, everyone knows about Fidel Castro and Che Guevara, how they took over Cuba and all that. But there was another dictator who was probably even worse, but didn't get the headlines because he was kind of supported by the U.S. and that's Trujillo. And so he was a big time dictator and like killed so many people. And he there were people that rose up against him, and some of these people were inspired by the Mirabelle sisters, and there were 4 sisters, and 3 of them actually went out and actually were kind of like rebelling openly against him. And one night, the 3 of them disappeared, and they found out that they were assassinated. And then the one sister that remained, she took up the cause, and it inspired the people, and basically they led a revolution, and eventually Trujillo got assassinated, and there was a civil war.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it's so
History.
history. Yeah, it's all on Wikipedia. But no, like a lot of this stuff, like I didn't even know about. Growing up, I heard my father talk about Trujillo this, Trujillo that, and Peña Gomez and everything else. And I didn't know the history because they don't teach that in school.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's so many incredible stories in South America in different countries, especially when they were, overthrowing the colonizers that are just would make incredible epic stories that we don't see. Like Haiti has like a million revolutions that were all epic and grand in scale.
Right. They're the first slave rebellion. That actually
exactly. That
They're
took
the
like
only
wildfire.
one.
I mean, there were lots of rebellions. They were just all very small and not successful until Haiti kind of took that.
So and I love history, like you said before, and so I think it'd be so important to like tell our history, because like I said, I didn't know this, and I'm in a Dominican household growing up, and I didn't know. I just heard like bits and pieces of stuff.
Yeah.
Like I didn't know why my father came over or my grandma came over. It's because there was a civil war going on, and they wanted to get out and go work somewhere else. That's why they ended up in New York in the '60s.
Right.
That's why I'm here.
Yeah.
So it's important.
Yeah. No, I agree. Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, I would like to do something like that. That would be amazing to do.
My dream movie would be Jesus Hopped the A Train.
Oh, you're Stephen Adley Gurgis fan. I love that, man.
Huge.
Oh, did you see it at Signature when it was at Signature like 6 years ago?
Oh, I didn't know that.
It was so good.
Yeah,
I love that play though.
So Jesus Hopped the A Train holds a special place in my heart because that was my introduction to acting. My late great acting coach Anne Rattray, she gave me that play, and I played Angel. That's how I learned the techniques of acting. I've done that play in her class 3 times, and I always played Angel every single time. And then when I got to, I went to LaGuardia Community College, and I was taking acting classes there. I always did that scene with Mary Jane, and Angel as like the final.
Right.
Like we every time like, hey, we got to do a scene. I'm like, great, I know the perfect scene. Like,
Yeah, it's a great role for you, you know. And it's
oh
such
my
a good
god, bro!
play.
I
mean, he's such a
haven't
good
done
writer.
it. I haven't done it in a few years, but I still remember some lines like Cuba, leave it, Cuba, fucking leave it. Let me get a big bag of smoke. You like music? I mean, you like movies? Not that Hester Moses bullshit. Like, yeah, that. So I've done that a bunch of times. Then I went to Lehman College for a semester, and guess what play they're doing for the school play this year? And obviously, I went up for Angel, and I gave that specific monologue, and they told me they wanted more representation, so they wanted Angel to be played by a woman. Like, okay. So then they were like, why don't you play Valdez? And I was like, yeah, I've been doing this play for like 7 years. I've never done Valdez before. Like, sure, I'll take it. And now I started looking at that play from a second perspective. And it was 2 days of auditions. I was there the first day, and they kept rotating actors with me. I was there for like 4 hours, bro. Just kept playing Valdez. And I was like, oh, this is mine at this point. Like, they just keep rotating actors, sending people home, and I'm still here. Like, and the second day I didn't go just because they didn't tell me to come back. They were like, yo, we saw what you did, great. They gave the part to this guy who was at Lehman for 4 years and had a relationship with the director of the play. I can't beat that.
No,
I
you
don't
can
care how
never beat
good you are. You
relationships,
just can't.
No, you can't beat
know?
relationships, but
But yeah, that would be my dream. And it's not even I don't even need a crazy budget to do it. Just need Stephen Adley Gerges to sign off.
and some money, you know,
And some money,
right,
of course.
But yeah, no.
But
it's
he
a
is my
simple
favorite
story.
playwright.
His play, Our Lady of 121st Street. Is
Oh my
just
God,
fantastic
amazing!
As well. Yeah, no,
Amazing
he's a great
motherfucker with the
writer.
hat.
That's what I was gonna say. Like I've done that like twice already. I read the role of I forget his name now, Jackie. You know,
Yeah,
and I saw it when they did it like years ago with Chris Rock.
Chris Rock, yeah.
I forget who Jackie.
I forget too, but yeah, no.
Oh my God, yeah, that's such a good play.
I actually would love to do theater, but I'm a bartender. I work nights. I can't commit.
Yeah.
You know, but I would love to do theater. Love to. I was trained theatrically, so.
Stephen Adley Gerges, good note to end on. He's
That is.
Hit us up.
Right, there we go. That is another episode of the Dyckman podcast. Can we all give out your, where can they find you, social medias, and any projects you have coming out that they should look forward to?
check out Fire with Fire, my latest feature film, just came out on Apple TV.
Hey,
What's your social medias?
Oh my God, I don't even remember. Instagram is Luke Dombond.
our Instagram is at Had to Bay Films. So you can find us there, follow us, and you'll be point as to where and how to get tickets, or just go to www.manguaki.com.
Cool. Yeah, so you can find me on Instagram at The Real Yankee Case or Twitter at Yankee Case. So yeah, my previous movie, Let Me Go, it's on Vimeo. Go to my IG. I have a link there. And I'll put a link to my new movie once I get that up and running too. So
Looking forward to it.
You know, I forget that we got to promote our threads now too. Like,
yeah,
It's so
I'm
crazy,
still like,
you know?
like if I really
Nobody
wanna do
needs that much social media.
right,
Just be one.
It's like just another 10 minutes of my life. So you can find me on Instagram, Kevin.Bencosme, Bencosme on Instagram. I have 4 projects that I'm promoting right now. There's One Life to Live, which is a crime thriller. I co-directed it, play the villain. You can probably find it on Tubi by the time this is out. We have a web series called Paper that I'm the star of. You could probably find that on Tubi when this comes out. Right now, I'm promoting a Game of Chess, which is a romantic comedy. I play a character called Chess. And, of course, Mangú Aquí. You can find it on Amazon Prime and wherever else this ends up whenever you find this. Please click the link in How to Bay Films bio. Buy the tickets for Mangú Aquí 2. Support us. We will support you back. Right?
Yes, Sorry.
Right. Okay. Great. Thank you, guys.